साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। Sai Ram, everyone. Welcome once again to a very beautiful evening of Sai Govind Satsangh series, a special day today, because today is the day we've all been waiting for, to listen to the person who we hear every week, but in a different role. But today he is going to be sharing all the Sai love that he has received and he has been sharing throughout his life. None other than our own brother Venkat. So before I speak a few words, okay, we have Hari Anna here. So Anna, can you say a couple of lines? I know you are in a rush to go somewhere, but before that, we want to hear you.
Sai Ram, to all of you, before even talking about Venkat, I want to tell that no satsang had before the satsang started so many participants. So today I am seeing lots of devotees who have come for this satsang. That shows the love and respect Venkat carries. You know, even I never come. Today I casually came and I came now it is Venkat who is going to offer this satsang. And in simple words, regarding his activities and other things, Brother Satya can speak, but to whatever little level I would like to introduce a childlike, open-hearted, ever smiling and frank personality, my dear brother Venkat, and he is excellent thinker, and he has got excellent thought process and a lovely person. And it's really Swami has selected him to give satsang today. I'm sure that every one of us gain a lot. We have been listening to others, and this is a beautiful day of Paurnamavasya, very special evening for Goddess Lakshmi, and who showers all the wealth. And there is a special story today. And on this special day, Venkat coming for offering this satsang is beautiful. I'm looking forward to listen to Satya also and all Singapore devotees who will offer their satsang, because after listening to everyone from the world, we should know that how much is there within us. Finally, it is us who matters than anybody else. And I am happy today Brother Venkat is offering. So I pray to Bhagavan to flow through him, you know, incessantly. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Anna. Venkat doesn't need any introduction, but still to share a few things because of our long association in the Sai family. As all of us know, Venkat, I mean, since childhood, since his Balvikas days, he has been with Swami, and he has been on so many missions to Parthi. Yes, Anna, you want to say something?
Yeah. That is why first I introduced, because As long association people introduction. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sairam. Yeah, there is some talk, Venkat. Sairam. Yeah. So since childhood, okay, his devotion to Swami, a family that has been devoted to Swami. But most important of all is Swami has said that, okay, my life is your message and I want everybody to be part of his mission. Somebody who has dedicated his life to Sai mission, okay, in various aspects of Swami's work, be it bhajans, okay, be it in the area of media, photography, videos, okay, or in the SSC activities, inspiring children. So across the age groups, there is somebody who, with his energy, okay, is all along available. Anytime you have Sai work and Brother Venkat is available, there is never a no from him at any point of time. This Sai Govind Satsangh series that started off as a small satsang with our Sai family has been going on week after week due to his dedication, his all-out efforts that he goes out to connecting to devotees all over the world. Today, we have been so fortunate that every week he announces that I do not know who the speaker for the next week is, but what happens during that week, we are all aware. There is so much effort going behind connecting with people. Swami's blessings are there all the time, inspiring all those people to connect with him, talk through him. And all these years of learning that he has had, we are very fortunate that he's going to be sharing with us. I'm sure this may not be the only session. I saw his preparation. I think it needs to run into a series maybe, but that we will leave it to Brother Venkat to decide. Over to you, Brother Venkat. So hope we'll have a glimpse of all the attributes today, some bhajans, okay, and all your experiences. Sairam.
Thank you, Satya, for introducing so beautifully. This shows that you will be excellent satsangi to give speech also. So I can vouchsafe that we are looking forward to listen to you. And today, as Brother Satya told, we'll have lots from Venkat and Satya and many more to come. It will be beautiful. Thank you, Sairam.
Sai Ramanna, thank you so very much. Offering my most humble pranams at the most merciful of mothers, most merciful Mother Sai, whose grace is paramount for us to exist, learn to believe in ourselves, and to realize that He's always with us in every moment of our lives. And I pray to Swami that whatever thoughts that have been running in my mind, where it has been very, very difficult to sleep the last few days, simply trying to connect the dots. I love drives and I love looking back at the rear view mirror. But very often we look back at the rear view mirror only when we need to, when there is a need to look back. Because the view in front is always so very beautiful. We always look forward, but there's so much to see in that split second when you have to make that turn or the shift in the lane to the next lane, or there is a vehicle coming back, you look back. And there's sometimes the most beautiful things that have happened, we don't even remember them because we don't look back. And the second thing that always inspires me are plane rides. The beauty of a plane ride, there's so many analogies to the plane ride, and let me start off with 3 aspects to a aeroplane ride. There is a takeoff, there is a cruise altitude, and there is a landing. When you take off, the fuel that you have is the largest quantity. Taking off needs a lot of thrust. But once you go and reach the cruise altitude, you don't burn fuel, you go on an auto cruise, autopilot. And you let the GPS take over, the Guru positioning system to take over. There might be some turbulences, no flight is without turbulence. But then, when you become lighter, you make that landing. Despite the winds, despite the resistance, when you are light, landing is easier than when you are heavy as baggage. The second thing that I get inspired by flights is that, I just love economy travel. Not that I can travel business class as a second thing. I love those window seats. And I love those vistas that greet me when I sit on that window seat. I always crave to see, can I see Swami there? Always wanted to see a form in the clouds. But then when the clouds move away, you see Swami in his Srishti that's down below. And the Srishti is so beautiful. It also lets you have the value of having drishti, sight, to enjoy his Srishti in front of you. And with that amazing beauty that greets your eye, you realize how minuscule you are in this wonderful, vast, diverse creation of our Lord. You soak in that beauty that suddenly your flight ends and you land. This has been the experience the last 135 weeks in the Sai Govind Satsangh, where we don't take long haul flights, we take short haul flights, 1.5 hours. Every week we come with an angst, we come with a problem, we come with an anxiety. It's part and parcel of life. But that 1.5 hours that we listen to the speaker, his journey, his challenges, the way Swami holds on to their hands and guides them without even them realizing it, you realize how fortunate you are. And I can recall the first satsang wherein Brother Arunodyan wanted a beautiful pendant and he got a very obscure looking one. And that didn't have Swami's face clearly on it. And he wore it and went to Sri Lanka, and when a gun was pointed and it touched that armlet and that pendant, and afterwards when he saw the beautiful face of Sai was there on the impact of that barrel. That is how we started, to the extent of listening last week where Swami can cause such an innate change in each one of us that someone who is in a government position comes up and says, for all those bodies that need to be given their last send-off, go and look for those white and white warriors who come with that blue scarves. Just tell them that I called or Swami called, and they shall do it. I have no words to describe how blessed one is to be in this umbrella of a Sai family. Whatever introduction that we may have, the only introduction that we need is we walked the same time when the Lord walked. We saw his smile. We saw his stern looks. We saw his hands swaying gently in the cosmic space. And we continue to see it in each one of us when we manifest the same bliss that he was able to give us. And that is what that inspired me to speak today, reflecting on a topic which I thought I shall try and connect some dots. It's actually not a topic, it's actually my quest. A journey to Sai with Sai Geetham. That's how I would like to speak today. And what was this journey all about? Was I born in a family of devotees of Swami? I do not know. I don't know too much about my forefathers, if they had connections anywhere along the line. But all I can say as a 4-year-old waiting the birth of my brother, my Lakshmana, who incidentally gives me access to speak today because he's the alumni and I'm the brother of an alumni. Very, very proud moment. Something that is a fact too. There's so much that I learn just being with him. When he was due to be born, I was in Penang. My granddad was a fantastic storyteller. He did not speak much, but he spoke very deep. He would reel stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata reading from Bharati Vidya Bhavan publications. I still remember those yellow books with those beautiful prints of Rama and so on. They were not beautiful paintings, but they were abstract, but they were really powerful images. And he would reel stories from there. But one of the story that really, really made me on a quest was this story where he would go about creating special effects and say, in the beginning, there was nothing. There was silence. And in that silence, there was this resonant sound, the Nada Brahman, the Om. And he created an awe about this Om. I didn't know anything about Pranava or whatever be it, but there was this magic, like some of these movies which have the special effects. When you start off, you want to know what is this mystery behind whatever is inspiring this man to go into a trance to explain this to me. And that brought about a thought of me trying to understand how sound has an impact on my emotions. I was very happy listening to the story of Om. The energy that it created listening to the sound of Om was magnificent. Little did I know, as a young lad, I would probably line up some chairs and go and bang them. I just love sound. I was experimenting. People suddenly said I was probably Anand Shankar trying to bang stuff. God knew. Little did they know, rhythm and me were far away. But, I banged things and I loved the sound it produced. And all I wanted to be is in that state of vibration. That yearning was there so young. I couldn't put words to it. But when I think back, that is the exact feeling that I had as a 4-year-old. I lost my granddad pretty soon. But in between, I was also blessed to experience this effect of music, the divine music, the Geetham, that manifested in so many prayers. My paternal grandma, who merged with Sai recently, she was an ardent devotee of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and in Trichy, Golden Rock, they set up a Sharada Mutt. And all I loved about that was, they would go, there were a lot of bhajans, but I loved the arati, which went like, Kantana Bhava Bandhana Jagavandhana Vandito Ma. Just the sustain. It was Bengali. It was very romantic to hear. I didn't know what romance was then, obviously, but it was beautiful just listening to those notes, and then seeing that arati going around Ramakrishna was a very a feeling of trance, just experiencing that. And then we didn't know anything about Sai. We were blessed to have someone called Swami Shantananda, who was a disciple of Swami Shivananda, who used to visit Penang. And he would reel out beautiful, melodious bhajans, because one of his duties when Swami Shivananda was in his final years in Rishikesh was to compose a bhajan every day. And I'm sure that Brother Hariharan has had the same responsibility from Swami in the bhajan group when it started, right? And he would compose small namavalis, so beautiful. And one of the songs went as follows. Let us meditate on the holy divine swans. Let us pray to them, oh, the holy divine swans. Up on the mount, far, far away, from the lake of Brahmed bliss, came the divine swans. Came the divine swans to free us from the bonds. We the poor ducklings struggling in the pond. Let us meditate on the holy divine swans. Let us pray to them, oh, the holy divine swans. And then came this magical words. Shivananda, Ramakrishna, Kriyanatha, Yogananda, Ananda Maima, Nityananda, Jnanananda, Sai Baba. That was the first time I heard the word Sai Baba in my life. And I was given the opportunity of participating in this, and I was given the role of Yogananda. And let me tell you, I did not read the autobiography of the yogi then. I was too young, probably 5 or 6. Um, and I read the Amarchita Katha, and the beauty of Yogananda's story is as follows. It comes in the chapter 10 of the autobiography of Yogi. Yogananda was in quest of a guru. He searched everywhere, high and low. He had lost his mom. His mother had given him an omelette, and he wore the omelette, and she said, "This omelette will be with you till you meet the person who takes you forward in your spiritual quest." And he went searching for that guru everywhere. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a market. He's standing here, and Yukteswar Maharaj, his guru, was standing in that far corner, and their eyes met. And there was a magnet that was drawing him. He was trying to take 2 steps backward, but the magnetic force was drawing him. And finally he comes to Yukteswar Maharaj and he says, "You have finally come. I have been waiting for you." From that day, that yearning to have this guru who would say the same words to me lingered so much. Words fail to describe that feeling, because there was no malice, there was no thoughts. You were, after all, a 6 or a 7-year-old, yet to be poisoned with the thoughts of the world and all the vasanas that cloud your clarity in your thought process. The innocence takes over, and that earnestness to look for the guru state. So the word Sai Baba had come, but it was just a word in a song. You see, my grandfather passed away when he was 63 on a flight 20 minutes before it landed in Chennai, en route to his daughter's wedding. My grandma was sitting next, my uncle probably the other side. And you know that the person who is your partner is gone. You know, once that breath stops, there's nothing much to say, right? You don't even call it the name, you call it a body. That identity is gone. And she was only 52 or 53, if I'm not mistaken. Incidentally, she's the same age as Swami, and she's still around, a bundle of energy. And when he passed away, she probably cried. Everybody would cry, but then life had to go on. And she came and stayed with us in Coimbatore. And her life was all about praying for others. Every morning she would go to the temple, 108 rounds, name it. Somebody says, "I have a problem," she will commit 36 Shashti Kavachams. God knows how she could reel off every day without any expectations. All she did was to pray for others. Very, very inspirational, and she continues to do so till today. Thanks to that, one fine day in the year 1983, I was yet 10 years old. A lady who resembled Anandamayi, you know, if you are fascinated by Yogananda, you would have heard about Anandamayi, you know, hair loose, white sari. Somebody knocked on our door. And she said, "I'm looking for so-and-so. Is she living here?" I said, "Yeah." And she came in. And she said, "Have you heard of Sai Baba?" And I said, "Yeah." And a party listened to a story. She said, "I lost my husband. I'm probably 75. I have a wonderful big house. I have my family living close to me. I'm independent. I think of Sai all the time, but I also cry all the time. And I keep complaining to Swami, what have you done to my life? You've taken my only love, my husband away. How can I live? I prayed, but I did not have a purpose. And he said, go 2 roads away from your house, knock on this door and ask for this lady and listen to her story. And my grandma gave her story, and this lady started weeping and saying, probably that is why he wanted me to understand that the purpose of living that journey is to pray for others. It is not about the state that you are in. And before we know, when Swami comes into your life, they say, Chat Phadke, the grace comes in. the only mistake, or the only catalyst in the house for us to be engrossed in Sai was we had a VCR player, and before we knew, we had all these videotapes of Swami in our house. There was just everyone coming to watch videos of Swami. And that room, which was supposed to be the room that given to my brother and I, that we just built a room for ourselves. Until then, all of us slept in a common room. That became the room where the energy was Sai, 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 Sai. And before I knew, somebody said, this fellow, incidentally, I had this love for music, and I told you I love sounds. And I do not know, my father played cricket, and he found someone who was the student of a famous singer called Tiger Varadachari. His Sishya, Narasimha Iyengar, who was an ardent fan of cricket, took the decision of training me, and we probably trained on Melsthayi Varisaigal for probably 2.5 years. We just loved staying in the notes. I do not know what it was. So music was something that kept me alive in this quest for a guru. And suddenly, with this music, someone came and told my grandma, just 5 streets away, they have something called Balvikas. He should go. Okay, here I went. And let me tell you, I have not met Swami, but you see so many Swamis before seeing that real form. And that first Swami that I saw was my Balvikas Guru, Lakshmi Pati. Her class had about 40 students from group 1 to group 3. Today I struggle to keep a class of one age group attentive over 1 hour, and we sometimes say, can we abridge it? And Balvika's classes used to start at 8:30, and despite the fact that the serials of He-Man and all those serials that would happen at 10:30, nobody wanted to leave Balvikas. Nobody. And somehow, what happened? The first day when I entered, the first sloka that I was taught was Omkaram Bindu Samyuktam Nityam Dhyayanti Yoginaha Kamadam Mokshatam Chaiva Omkaraya Namo Namaha. And then she starts explaining about Auma, the 3 facets of spirituality. That was what I heard from my grandpa when I was 4 years old. And I knew that I had come to the place which is going to give me all the fundamentals to face any turbulence that would come in my life. This was the summer of 1983, and it was very funny. I love slokams. Many of the slokams that they were teaching, I probably knew them. And then there was a few boys who would loudly chant Ashtotram, and I tell you, my fascination for Ashtotram started then. I did not bother memorizing it. We didn't have too many books, and I would just follow the guy next to me. If I know what's the next starting word, I know what is the ending word. That's how it went. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this, because it's got a big significance later on in that year that happened with Ashtotram. So Balvikas happened. It was about 5 months, and suddenly one fine day they said, the first World Balvikas Rally is happening in Prashanti Nilayam, and we want Venkat to come. I was all of 10, just a few months older. My mother has never sent me alone. Probably I've gone on holidays to my uncle's place overseas, but always, with somebody traveling around. They said, don't worry, there are so many people coming along. There's the Guru's conference, there's so-and-so. Don't worry. And I was excited. You know why I was excited? Because we were going to embark on a journey in a bus which was going to be overnight, and all that we were going to do was sing bhajans the whole journey. Absolutely excited. We went to the Pulyar temple that was down the road, and while coming back, I started puking. And my mother thought, hey, this guy is probably a little bit nervous going on his first trip. She said, it's okay, go. And that is the thing, right? I'm blessed with parents who never held Vivek or me back in whatever we wanted to do. And that's a blessing, because without that, you can't move forward in life. And then started that magical journey. We went to the mandir in Racecourse, Coimbatore. It was about 10 o'clock in the night. We were all assembled. They lined us up and I got the last seat on a bus where five people were squeezing into a seat that was meant for 4. Incidentally, I was not as big as I am now. Managed to squeeze in and I got the window. You know why I got the window? I always like looking out and I wanted that breeze to come in. You know, I love that wind gushing past in my journeys. And we started at about 10, probably 9:30. And the bhajans were going full force. You know, if somebody was to look at this, they will think it was some kind of a possessed bus. We were just singing. You know, there were so many manjiras, there were so many ganjiras, and it was just loud, pouring of names and forms of the God that some of us don't even know about. Pure innocence. And I still vividly remember, probably around 4:35, the bus started going towards those few winding roads closer to Prashanti. And I looked out and all I saw was shadows of rocks. And then those of you who have been to Prashanti, especially at that time of the day, you know there are those few singular rocks that you wonder how it's standing there without falling down. You know, just those few standing rocks. It was absolutely surreal. It looked like, you know, I'd seen movies of Mechanus Gold and things like that. It was like going into some fantasy land. And then close to 5, the bus enters the entrance close to the Gopuram. And what greeted me was these angels dressed in white, carrying a candle, walking in such silence and still singing those beautiful Christmas carols. It was the eve of Christmas. I was on the other side, you know, the one that faces the canteen, but then all the gaze was on the left where people said that's where Swami is. And what greeted my eyes was this shadowy figure waving his hands and blessing those devotees on Christmas Day. I felt I saw God because there was no other feeling. And then reality struck. The bus went forward, accommodation was given. And what was the accommodation? It was not the shed, it was a tent. And before we knew, you know, all this ecstasy of seeing Swami was all gone. Everything was focusing towards, you know, when there's so much of bhajan, we all know, we spend more time thinking of what's bhojan after bhajan. So breakfast was there. And it was mind-blowing, you know, like there was, how many vades you want? 10 vades, brother, eat. There was no limit. It was, we never knew of buffet then, you know, it was Swami's love. And we were eating dosas, and I'm particularly trying to emphasize this vades, not to talk about food, but something related to what I want to talk subsequently. I was eating on vades, I was eating on dosas, I was eating upma, and every afternoon I was also puking. Did not know what was the cause. And then, of course, I was blessed to travel with yet another Mahanubhava in my life called Ponappan, a man who taught me that always be available. You never know when the Lord will call. Biggest lesson in my life. He left very early. But all through till the end, if I were to think back and remember, he was nothing but a person who was available always for Sai. Because when Swami gives you a chance, never ever say no. Never ever think, say yes. Because if it's not a reason why you have to do it, he will not ask you. Nevertheless, Ponappan Anna was with me and we had to go and register my name. And when I went into the registration counter, they said, what's your name? I said, K.S.Venkataraman. They said, Sai Venkatesh, right? I said, no, K.S.Venkataraman. No, you have been registered as Sai Venkatesh. So I got a new name, Sai Venkatesh. And then as we came out of the registration counter after breakfast, all this happening, somebody said, Swami is coming. And then I saw ADA number 9, the red color Mercedes coming over there in the streets from Purnachandra Hall. And there was this person just looking at us, and there was nothing happening. We were just looking at this form through a window, but there was this drawing, the same force. I wanted to go run and hug him. I do not know what was my feeling then, but there were always sevadals telling you not to go beyond a point, and it stopped there. We went back into a sheds, and incidentally we had to learn a couple of songs. One of the songs was about Sealing on Desires. The other one was about Listen to the Words of Swami. Beautiful compositions. And there were two opportunities that came. The first opportunity was, if you knew the Ashtotram, you can sit on the first row in Purna Chandra Hall tomorrow. Now, do I say a yes or a no? Because I knew Ashtotram with a mumbo jumbo outlook, okay, not real. So here was a chance to say yes, which was a bit like Ashwatthama, the elephant kind of story, or say no. I said I don't know. I didn't say yes. I didn't want to lie. Then they said, okay, there is another opportunity. Someone has to speak in front of Swami. Believe me, at the age of 10, I probably could not speak a proper sentence of English. My dad was a stickler for grammar. There was always this fear of making grammatical errors, because what I would get would be a kuttu after that. There was always this fear of speaking, and there was no need to converse in English. So Meena Ma, who was the state Balvikas president of Tamil Nadu, she had 2 lieutenants in her room, and suddenly I was summoned, and they started teaching me to speak. The entire speech was prepared. All I have to do was read and speak. It was somebody's lines, but when I spoke, I felt it was what I wanted to speak. And before I knew, it was a competition kind of thing where every state would send their representative. We spoke. Finally, the decision was to come who was going to be the speaker, and I was pitted against somebody from the east of India. And before the final chance, the boy came up and said, it took me 5 days to reach Prashanti. And he was describing his train journey from village A to B, B to C, then taking a train to come to Calcutta to somewhere else, and then from somewhere else to Prashanti. I thought, this boy really, he's put an effort. I came in like a walk, like a, wild card entry into this whole thing, and I didn't really feel like I felt he should speak. That feeling was there straight away, although I wanted to speak. And he spoke beautifully, and he was selected to speak. But somehow what happened, these people saw that, this boy has put in a lot of effort. So they made me sit for Ashtotram that morning. And I'm sitting here in Purna Chandra Auditorium. Many of you have had the bliss of performing there, know how it is, the feeling. Swami on the stage on the extreme left, and I'm here, and he's staring at me. And I was chanting the Ashtotram fluently. His stare made me not mumbo jumbo, but actually chant it. It was a wonderful experience. The eyes met. There were no words discussed, but I felt a music alive inside me. And that has been the quest, to find out what is this Sai Geetham all through. Few days later, I was diagnosed to have severe jaundice, which was the cause of my puking, and I went into the Sathya Sai General Hospital, and they said, you should not walk. You are in full rest and no activities. And we had a rally. I've come only for the rally. We have done all this march past practice. Don't tell me not to go out in the sun. It's good for me. So what stopped on that day was the vades and the dosas, and I started having Elanir and name it, all special attention. Everybody was interested in knowing how I was every day. I should not be the casualty in the whole group, right? My jaundice, when I returned to Coimbatore, I realized was so severe that it was just a medical miracle that I didn't need any treatment. I didn't have any medicines. And the rally finished. In the final day, we were all made to sit in rows on the sands of Prashanti. And I tell you, the bliss of sitting on the sand in the hot sun. Well, December was fantastic. I can't complain of sun in December. But the fact of this beautiful Lord walking, and finally the eyes met in close quarters. I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know what to say. He smiled, I smiled. The smile was not an artificial one, it was that of absolute happiness. He meant it when he smiled, because he knows everything about me, and I smiled because I felt that I finally come home. This was home. Swami gave a beautiful pendant. I was reminded when I was, hearing Arunodyan brother talking of that pendant. Many things that I was blessed to get from Swami was always for a reason, and none of them have stayed with me, except him. That pendant, within a year, vanished from our lockers. I have no idea where it went. But that experience of sitting on the sand, receiving it from every Balvika student. Incidentally, I forgot to tell you one thing. The bliss of Purna Chandra also happened in another way. I think on the 4th day of our stay, there was huge rain. Rain in December was unheard of. Lightning. The tents were all blown away. There was a boy who the light bulb, came and hit him, and he was like, there was burns. Swami went, touched him. Next day he was sitting with us. There was not an iota of a mark. And from there we were moved from the tent to that bliss of staying in those sheds of Prashanti. The sheds of Prashanti teach you a lot of valuable lessons, where all you do is go with a small peti and you put it there, you open the blanket, you sleep, and then you close it, and then that space is available for you to... All you have is the space of a bed. Sometimes the person next to you is so close. But the best happiness I've had has been staying in those sheds. And believing me, the next shock was going to the toilet, because you have to stand in a queue. And I tell you, the best seva in Prashanti, the Hyderabad boys take it, the alumni do it, is to go and clean those toilets. We did that as Balvikas then. It was part of our stay. We had to clean our own toilets. Wonderful training to understand the importance of self-sustenance and doing your own duty, not depending on somebody else. With these lessons learnt, I came back to Coimbatore, and just to let you know, the entire journey of my life has had the word Sai. I did not tell you Sai actually existed without me realizing it, because the place we lived is called Sai Baba Colony. That was where home was. And after that, it was bhajans. At the age of 12, when you have those innocent, childlike voices, everybody loves your innocence. And before you knew, you were in the mandir singing bhajans. And Coimbatore had the luck and the fortune of having Swami visit us every year in the summer, en route to Ooty and Kodaikanal. And the craving to sing for Swami started. I do not know whether it was the craving for the mic, the craving for the attention, or the craving to sing for Swami. All put together. I don't want to be lying saying it was only for Swami. Everything. At that age you love the mic, and I want to tell you how the love for the mic comes and hits you so badly that you forget Sai Geetham and you look of something else. And that's the process that I want to finally touch upon. But at that age it was still innocence, and it was an age where your voice breaks. And suddenly, when you are a person who used to get a chance every week, suddenly was told you can't sing anymore. That pining was there to sing. You wanted the voice to stabilize, to sing again, but then it didn't sound like how you heard it before. The range was limited. You can't hit the notes that was hitting you, that was giving you the magical feeling of connecting to Sai. It was a very different experience. But having said that, it was also those trips in that difficulty that we used to make to Ooty, where Swami had a beautiful school, where probably I would have listened to Ravi Kumar brothers sing. So the trip from Coimbatore, we would start at 5:30 through the winding roads. We would reach probably 8:30, run. Bhajans would have just started. We wanted to be for the bhajans, and then it was a magical sound because it's outside. Swami is giving darshan. But then we have nothing to do, and in between we would go to botanical gardens, whatever. Sometimes we will go down. Swami's car will be in the car wash down below. We'll all gaze at the car and stuff like that and come back. Because we had to come down on those ghat roads, we had to leave early. But then evenings were the opportunities where you get to sit inside the school and just watching those boys in those red color sweaters come and then sing. That craving to be his student started. That craving was unbearable. That the next opportunity came, we wrote and we found out that I can study in Puttaparthi, seek admission, but I have to study one class lower because I was underage. When I hear of all these people who studied different degrees unrelated to what they studied simply to stay with Swami, I do not know why that longing of being with Swami never translated in me making that simple decision of repeating 1 year. I failed to understand. I don't have regrets, but I have that angst of what prevented me from making that simple decision. We used to write every year to Prashanti, and every year they will say the same thing. And then, somebody said, write a letter. So one of those trips, I wrote a letter, Swami, and my letter was, Swami, I want to study in your school, but I don't want to repeat a class. Please accept me for whatever class I wanted. Swami took the letter. People said that you will get admission. Again, I tried. I didn't get that admission. They said, repeat the class. So I said, no, I'm not repeating a class. I'm happy here. And that started this craving to be a student of Swami. And I want to tell you, Balvikas was something that also gave us a lot of things that happened later. So many speakers have spoken about Swami's delays are not his denials. So we had one wonderful Mahanubhava called Sachitanandam, Sachuanna, who was our zonal coordinator. He was a bachelor. He was, Swami used to call him Hanuman. He was there jumping, bubbling with joy, hard of hearing with a hearing aid. But every time he spoke to me, he saw this and he would say, Venkato, you should do this. Put up a play for Swami. Put up this. Every year he will say, come get all the boys together. Let's write a play for Swami. This year when Swami comes, you are putting the play. If not in Coimbatore, it's in Ooty. Later on it went to Kodaikanal. We were given this build-up of putting a play to Swami every year. And then somebody came and said, you should also put a musical. So all of us realized Swami loved Anup Jalota. We learned the entire CD. Jaise bhi hai, ab hai sa. In slow, pathos, like pleading to Swami, happy songs, everything we learnt. We learnt it with that kind of perfection that tomorrow if Swami says, shuru karo, we were ready to sing. But every year, strangely, it never happened. None of us were disappointed because the process allowed us to be in constant contemplation during the summer holidays where we had nothing else to do. And that craving to put this drama for Swami started then. A lot of craving started at different points in life. Balvikas also gave wonderful opportunities. So we thought during different stages of our lives, we will get those opportunities fructifying. And just give me a moment. We thought at different stages of our life, these opportunities will fructify. We were asked to prepare a Swagatam song so that Swami will be welcomed with Purna Kumbham. Swami came every year. It was never any denial. Swami came. But those things never happened. I do not know whether that gave the complacency not to yearn. Let it happen when it has to happen. I do not know whether not yearning is a lot of contradictions to this thought process. Yearning gives you something. Not yearning gives you satisfaction. It's not about sour grapes. It's just not to be disappointed. Right? You just go through the process and let it happen when it has to happen. So some of those beautiful things in Balvikas, I want to tell you, Balvikas classes happened. Balvikas by far is the best that Swami has given to a young mind. The program cannot be structured better because it is from the Creator Himself. It does not need any adulteration. It does not need any modification. As is. Just do it. Don't look at results, because what Balvikas does is sowing the seeds for the roots to take a deep foundation. It manifests itself when there is a need for it to manifest. It is not something about you wear a white and you become holy, It's not so. I love those olden day photographs where people were with bell bottoms and red checker shirts walking next to Swami. That looked more real than sometimes walking with white and not being that white that you represent in color. Having said that, Balvikas exposed to multiple things. One of those things was annual competitions where we could debate, quiz, and bhajan singing. There were multiple competitions, and that was a phase where we had to go through samiti to district to zone to state. State would happen in Sundaram. So that was the first experience of being in Sundaram, just singing in that energy during competitions. And strangely, those were the years where I have no reason, but Swami knows why. Swami did not come to Sundaram for 3 consecutive years. This Sundaram visit used to happen in January, and the competitions will start in July. The excitement of making those journeys, traveling to Erode, Salem, wherever, with the whole Balvikas. That was your family. It was absolutely magnificent. But 3 years, name it, for all the age groups that I took part, probably had about 8 to 10 prizes to get. And I was yearning for that magical moment of receiving that prize from Swami. It was not happening. Balvikas was coming to an end. And that opportunity might not happen. School finished. In between, of course, a few other things. Balvikas also gave us wonderful moments where Swami loves Seva. Every year, Coimbatore would take up some medical camp in the summer. It could be polio camp, it could be eye camp. And as Balvika students, we were asked to stay in a Kalyana Mandapam the entire period, taking old people to the bathrooms, cleaning the toilets, just being with them. And you know what? Every Seva camp that happened, Swami came. Always unannounced. And a bhajan would spring up just like that. There will be Om Jai Jagdish Hare. And then Swami would leave, and there would be that bliss of feeling that, when you do opportunities of service given to you, blessings are automatic. Don't crave for it. It will come your way. So Balvikas gave those deep insights that it was not about just singing. It was about contemplation. It was about seva. We were also taught to be gurus, and little did I know all these would have me understanding what Sai Geetham was all about. And I told you, the craving for me was to be a Swami student. And then one of my, I don't know if I should use the word regrets. I just do not know what came over me. I wanted to study engineering in life. Somehow, most of us are geared to follow a same track. It's not uncommon. I too wanted to be an engineer. Don't ask me why. I wanted to be an engineer. I felt that anything beneath engineering was beneath me or my intellect. And then I looked at what courses are in the Sathya Sai University. It said BSc Physics, BSc Maths, BSc Chemistry. I said, that's not engineering, man. But then that yearning to be a Swami student made me travel in that summer. For the first time, we got a room in one of those East Prashanti houses. 2 of us from Coimbatore went to write our entrance exam. And I wrote it so well. The next day, they were supposed to announce those who were selected. I was sure my name would be on the list. And I was on a bus back to Coimbatore. I didn't see the list. Had I lost the chance, I lived with regret. For some strange reason, I did not get into engineering. I got a seat and then the seat went away, and I actually joined a course called BSc Applied Sciences. I did not get into engineering. And I blew my chance. I blew my chance given to by Swami, by my own mind, monkey mind. I have no idea. Was it the fear of discipline, the fear of valuing what you study? Because honestly, what you study is irrelevant. You would have been with the Lord. It didn't matter at that time, but in trying to understand what you have lost, but the loss was absolutely deep. And further, that I didn't get into engineering. Finally, I had to accept what came my way. I started studying. And then close to my, even while studying, there was this faint hope that I will get into engineering. There was this something that happened in my state. The admission process was getting delayed, and I didn't get engineering. That was the crux of the matter, and I was studying applied science. And by November, close to Swami's birthday, it dawned on me that, hey, you know what? You're not studying engineering. And then came, Swami is coming to Chennai in January. And Swami is going to give the prizes for the last 3 years. That was one of my desires, right? To get the prize from Swami. Those were what I thought was what a student gets. It's opportunities to sing, opportunities to talk, opportunities to serve, opportunities to get prizes from Swami. That is all that I thought was a student. Of course, after the satsang, you hear a lot of other dimensions of being a Swami student. And it only brings a lot more of humility. But then, when the Lord decides to grace you, that grace comes no matter what. And I better be watchful of time, because I'm hardly into the quarter of my journey and I look at the time. I better be watchful. Having said that, we all went to Chennai. There were a lot of prizes. My center of Sai Baba Colony had probably about 28 to 30 prizes to be received from Swami. And I had about 8 of them. 8. So all those castles were being built. When Swami gives it, how am I going to, prostrate to him? How am I going to, everything, the visualization had started. Fantasization of this experience of receiving that award started when the journey began from Coimbatore. We went in, and the previous day we realized that year Tamil Nadu had started having a board exam for the 11th standard. And 70% of the awardees of the prize had not come to receive their award because they had an exam. And our state education president had to go through a list where literally we were only going to be about 30 of us going to get prizes. Hey man, that was already building a lot more. Only 30 of us there in that front row. You are going to get 8 of that. My gosh. And almost all the 30 of them were literally our center. It was almost like an exclusive event designed for these Balvikas children who yearned to get a prize from Swami. And then it happened. Our state president at the time, Mahadevan sir, was given a wrong list, which was the original list where half the people were missing. So he starts reading name A, name B, Swami is already come. The stage is filled with prizes. We are like, this crowd, and this is Abbotsbury, okay? For those of you, Abbotsbury became the Sun TV headquarters. Darshan in Abbotsbury is an experience by itself. Divinity at its infinity, right? For those of you who have had a chance, I've heard Kumar Anna talk of his experience. I'm sure Satya Anna would have also sung. The experience of singing in Abbotsbury is mind-blowing. There was an opportunity, there were different opportunities. There was an Aarti opportunity, there was singing opportunity, but you know what? I'm going to get 8 prizes from Swami. What more, yaar? No bhajan, no need, no Aarti. Chalo yaar, 8 prizes. And then Major Mahadevan started reading prize number 1, not there, prize number 2, not there, prize number 3, not there, prize number 4, not there, 5, not there, 6, not there. Then one person went, then again 7 people not there. Swami just suddenly changed his expression. He said, and then went and touched all the prizes and said, I'm going. And Om Jai Jagdishwari started. That was the end of the prize ceremony here. We got nothing. And I was tearing. I was tearing uncontrollably. With me was our former All India President Srinivasan's son Arvind, who was my senior in school. We were sitting next to, we were the only older folks, all the others were kids. They didn't realize the enormity. See, I was not a Balvika student. I can't come back and get a prize from Swami. I mean, it's finished, yaar. I'm done. This is my last chance. And then Swami walks back, sees us tearing and says, good boys, don't cry, don't cry. Swami will bless you. And I don't know what happened then, there was some devotee from Tirupati. Those days, those solar watches had come, solar watches, where with solar light, the watch will charge itself and you don't need dial's battery. It was quite fanciful. And he gave us solar watches. We put it on. It was like, hey, I'm in university, Swami. You expect me to wear this watch? Please. If I was an 8-year-old or 10-year-old, it's nice. I mean, you've already got a watch, but this monkey mind wants more. And I do not know, when the thought arose, Swami looked and said, big boys, steel watch. And he went in and got a beautiful watch for just a few of us who were college students there and gave us the watch. And it was just bliss receiving it. We forgot about the angst of not getting the prize from Swami. My Guru Punapan and I have this tradition in Madras. 3 places that I can't miss will be Kapalishwara Temple, Shirdi Baba Temple in Mylapore, not the Gindi one, Mylapore. And my Guru Punapan and I, after being treated as VIPs, we went to all these temples. We were supposed to report at 4 o'clock to sit in the line. Now you are no more a VIP. Your Balvikas prizes have been given and all you have to do is sit in the general line. And we had a 9 o'clock train by Nilgiri Express and Swami was scheduled to give darshan at about 6 something. So by the time we went, we arrived at about 5:25. And everybody has gone in. The Sevadal said, where are you going? Darshan. Darshan and all, everybody is gone. Go home. I'm like, I don't know. Then I told my Guru, come, let's say something. So we went and told Sai Ram this morning. We were all part of the Balvikas group. We were supposed to receive a lot of prizes. This is my student Venkat. I'm his Guru Punapan. Blah, blah, blah. And we were dressed in immaculate white, okay? And crisp whites. And we also had our luggage in our hand. I don't know what happened. The Sevadal said, wait. Then he spoke to another Sevadal. At about 5:55, somebody ushers us and makes us sit in the front row. And I'm like, excuse me, something is funny. What triggered us? There's not a single Balvika student. All the people to my left and right are Swami students. And I told my Guru, I don't know what you've got us into, but this is not where we should be sitting. Let's get going. We had 2 problems. We had to get up and go and catch our train. Front row, corner. We didn't know why we were there. 2 minutes before Swami, all the Sevadals give the last minute instruction, no touching, no this, no that. They were telling everybody behind us. But when they came and looked at us and they said, we don't have to tell you anything. You're Swami students, no? And that feeling of being called a student was enough. Swami came, the stare was mind-blowing. He knew we were not students. And Swami started his speech and we both got up and went for our train. We had the audacity to get up. We had to, But just that feeling, we came here, the previous year Swami said, Swami gave admission and you didn't want to take it and you longed to be a student, and here you are in the first semester. Swami already gives you that experience of being the student. He can make you what he wants you to be if he wills so. And then the year passed, college happened, and then the next year the magnificence happened. I don't want to go into a few things about bhajans, but bhajans was something that I would say translated from innocence to a borderline of showing off to arrogance. That is how bhajans used to be, at least in that journey. And we thought it was a birthright to sing. And Swami used to come. I still have the video. I've actually posted it in Sai Govind Satsangh. I managed to get it the last trip. Visit to Coimbatore, the 30th of April, 1992. We got news the previous day that Swami is confirmed to come. The pandal was put up. There was crowds, and it was announced who has to sing. And we had the system, senior most, senior most, next senior most, and then the rookies, like in a cricket team. If you're an opening batsman, you come in, they won't take you as an opening batsman. They might even take you as a night watchman first before you get to sing the big events and songs. So we were instructed, you can all sing before Swami arrives, but when Swami comes, A, B, C, D, and you will sing blah, blah, blah. And anyway, they got 2 songs from us. And Swami arrived, and song number 2 was going on. I was number 6. We could already hear the Purna Kumbham sound, so the walking distance was less than about 100 meters to come towards the stage. Probability of singing was next to impossible. Then suddenly the sound, the euphoria reduced. We heard that Swami has gone inside the mandir. He was blessing the doctors. It became longer. Second song finished, third song finished, fourth song finished. Then we can hear the hush of silence. Swami is walking. Swami is walking. And we don't have harmonium players in Coimbatore. Everybody thinks they are a harmonium player just playing sa pa sa. And then we'll put one ga in between, and that's the chord. Okay, so harmonium will move. But for me, suddenly since Swami had come, the harmonium did not come, and the person next to me gave me a shruti which was double of what I could sing. And the bhajan that I got to sing was Punyanam Pavitranam. I was singing at a pitch. At that time, I knew that I was going to croak. And then I said, Swami, you know what? I surrender. I'm going to croak. I'm going to make a fool of myself. But if you think that the earnestness to sing for you is there, please stay in front of me. Be with me till I finish that higher note. And you won't believe it. He stood right in front, waving his hand, and I look at the video and I do not know where that Karuna Swarupa has this thought process of, granting those simplest of wishes. The bhajan finished. Swami went up on stage and the waving continued. And I tell you, for those Mahanubhavas who had these umpteen chances of singing in the mandir, that waving of the hand when you sing is just transcending the energy to the cosmos. That Nada Brahman, he's enjoying your singing, and you are putting an effort to sing, but the song itself is his. It's his Geetham. That was the second wish granted. I got to sing in front of Swami. So second year, BSc, second box ticked. I had sung in front of Swami. One of my reasons for being a student, or wanting to be a student. The third year, again Swami came to Coimbatore. We had a bonanza in Coimbatore. I tell you, Coimbatore people were so blessed. We also had our fair share of problems. I'll just share one thing. This bhajan was a culmination of angst that has happened in the past. For 2 years, Swami was confirmed to come to Coimbatore to bless us, to consecrate a few things in our mandir. But the previous day, we were starting to fight over what bhajan to sing. And I want to share this for those of you. We started getting really foul at a point. There was no civic sense in how some people spoke. The youngsters had their anger in not being led to sing. There were some words uttered, and I want to tell you, Swami was driving a brand new Audi. I think it was 84 when brand new Maruti 1000 that it was released, and we all knew Swami is going to come. Everybody, Swami, we love to see which car he's releasing, and he's coming by each year to Coimbatore. And normally the new car comes around that time. So Maruti 1000, Swami was coming. He made sure, because of this conversation the previous day, he did not even step into an inch of the district called Coimbatore. He went to Ooty without touching Coimbatore. So, there's these things. When you want to sing, just sing. Don't process. Because the very thought of you wanting to sing is his seed in your mind. It's not you. So there we learnt this, what do you want to sing? I don't know. What do you want me to sing? Just sing. Go with the flow. Right? And then when this opportunity came in my second year, it was absolutely a culmination of that euphoria of getting to sing. Then the second year moved, third year happened. By the way, I didn't tell you, before the first year, the previous year, by the way, when Swami did come to Coimbatore, the first duty that we got as Balvikas was chappal duty. I didn't talk about that because I wanted to talk about the student, but the Balvikas, we started with chappal duty. What was chappal duty? We had a piece of land where Swami would pass by, the chappals were to be lined up there, and we had to take token, give to people, and that is all. That is all is your duty, and all the Balvikas did it. Amazing experience. Nevertheless, the third year comes, and again it was confirmed Swami is going to sing. And this time, you're promoted. Last time you have sung in front of Swami, you're slightly informed with the elders. They said, maybe you can sing second song, third song. The number also determines in Tamil Nadu which deity you sing on. Because when you come later, you become others. You don't have a choice of Rama, Krishna. It becomes all the rest that you sing. So this year, there was this chance to sing perhaps the second, Shiva or maybe Rama, Krishna. The mind was already going, okay, this song. Then Sachuna comes and says, hey, I want a bunch of boys for a duty. I won't tell you what it is, but you will not be going for bhajan practice. We were like, please, excuse me, what duty is better than singing? He said, no, I won't tell you what it is, but come in immaculate whites. This is what we were told. And Swami was bringing about 54 or 108 boys, I don't remember the number, was on the way to Kodai. So Kodai had started then, right? And they were stopping in one huge bungalow close to our mandir for lunch. And on that day, we found out the duty that we had, 5 of us, was to serve food to Swami and all the boys. Bonanza, serve Swami. Remember, one of those wishes was to serve Swami. And we were told, remember, he is Swami, but here your duty is to serve the vegetable means. You look at the vegetable, serve it on the... You don't look at Swami. You don't say even Sai Ram, nothing. Chup. You should be silence. Discipline is all that matters. And how many... I don't know, I pity those boys. If you like or don't like was not there in the food served. There were about 54 dishes to be served. And it was not a room that was so huge, and all the boys were lined up, and we had to go single file. If a guy goes this way, until he comes back, the next fellow can't serve. But we have to serve all these dishes, and we had about 30 to 40 minutes to finish this whole process. We didn't prepare, okay? And finally they gave us rice containers that 2 people have to hold, like, you are going in 2s. And Swami will wiggle past us, to try to show how slim he is. And then, all kinds. He was cracking jokes. You honestly did not feel that awe of being there, because suddenly he was like a buddy. So he came up and said, what are you serving? So I was carrying Vetta Korumbu. In the Vetta Korumbu, eppadi panna? Vettaleyala pannuvala? No, Swami, Vetta Korumbu is made of Vattal. Okay. And then one of the instructions from Sachuna was, boys, when finally Swami asks to wash his hand, he might call, but that time nobody show your face. I will only be there. I'm going to do it. Okay, now, so be it. We are already in bliss, so who asked for all this? So we served the food. Interactions happened. Lot of jokes. Lot of witty anecdotes from Swami. We didn't realize it was Swami time. Suddenly the 40 minutes finished, and Swami, and we also got to serve Swami, by the way. I mean, that bliss, he hardly ate anything, but the plate was actually filled when he called to wash hands. And I was carrying this huge rice bucket, and suddenly I saw that finger, and I was like, Swami, you want rice? No. And I went in, and he showed his hand towards the silver container that had water to wash his hands. And he said, what? Pour. Sachuna came running and said, I'll do it. Wait. And I washed Swami's hands. Swami drank a sip of coconut water, and he gave it to me. I was hoping it was not more, because I don't like buttermilk. There was also more on that container. I wish it was not more. I didn't know until it came towards me what it was, right? But you're praying it's not more, because I don't like more. And then I started drinking. But before I drank, suddenly I thought, hey, you know what? This grace, it's not mine. We are 4 of us. So in front of Swami, I went and gave it to the rest of the 4 of us. They drank first and I drank at the end. I also gave it to Sachvana. Swami saw this. He said, very good boys. Then the inevitable happened. Swami called all of us, asked what's our name, blah, blah, blah. And he said, what do you study? And I said, Swami, I'm doing BSc Applied Science. Engineering, huh? My heart sank. But you know, the ego doesn't give up. Actually, BSc Applied Science is part A of AMIE, which allows you to do a part B and you get quasi recognized. So the counter went back to Swami. Swami, I'm doing part A of AMIE, Swami. I might do part A. Swami waved his hand and, just smiled. We never expected anything from Swami. Swami had left the room. Suddenly it dawned on us, hey, where is that vibhuti here? Every time you serve, people tell you Swami materializes, gives you something. There was nothing. We didn't realize the value of that prasadam that we got, the entire plate. We didn't fathom that. We wanted that mark. That yearning was in all of us. We were like, I don't know, we were not tearing, but there was something in us. And Swami, who had gone outside the door, comes back and suddenly waves and pours to each one of us and says, lick. He didn't ask us to put it on. He said, lick. And in front of Swami, shamelessly, we licked all the vibhuti. Swami went down the stairs and the mind started. All of us had this tadup in us. Swami, what about on our forehead? Vibhuti. Swami walked down steps, came back and materialized. And then that then that magnificence happened, where in Sri Sai Satcharita, I read it yesterday, where it says, when you have that contact of the touch of the Guru on your body, the energy that transmits is an out-of-world experience. And Swami put vibhuti on all our foreheads with such a deep impact on all of us and said, good boys, always be in service. That was a message to a lot of youngsters which inspired. Some of us still continue to do his work, and I really need to be mindful of my time because I still have not come to. Let me try to speed it up and finish. I don't think I want to do a part 2 because the story is simple. There's nothing more to add. This journey continued. And life was all about singing bhajans. So I'm going to fast forward to the next phase. From India, went to Malaysia, saw devotion in a whole different gambit in terms of bhajans. It was different from India, but it was nothing but unadulterated devotion that was seen. And one of the next journeys that I had was to go to the UK to study my master's. And I was yearning to ensure that my weekends was with Sai. That's all that I wanted. There was the excitement to go to UK. There was also this angst of going to UK. Various other ulterior motions. Do a part 2, brother. I don't know. Let's see. Let me just go with this flow up to a point. I'll probably after this part, I'll give a part 2 because the next part is from yearning, it's transformation. So maybe I need to reflect more to talk. Let me see. Let me stop after this UK part of this. So before I left our center in JB, where our regional convener, Dr. Ravi, was the president. After bhajans, there was one lady who came up and said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to Brunel. She said, 15 years ago, I stayed in Brunel. And this is the card of all the Sai centers at that time. You can try to contact. First in the name was a person called Chunni Bai. When I went to London, I tried those numbers. The numbers had long changed. 15 years ago, the numbers, it said Thursday bhajan, Sunday bhajan, nothing tallied. And I was yearning to have a bhajan. The only person who I had contact was a friend of my father whose wife was living alone. And the number that I had to call from a payphone. I would call. She would not pick up. She never picked up. One day I called 8 times and the 9th time she picked up. Then I realized that because she was staying alone and she used to get crank calls, only on the 9th call she would actually pick up. I never knew that was the case. And we spoke, and I said, the only thing I'm earning, she said, are you missing home, house, food, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm not missing anything, but I'm actually missing bhajans. I want to go to a Sai center. She said, you know what, I don't know of Sai centers. I go to Narayaniyam, this, that, and all that stuff. But there's this one man, he's from NatWest Bank. We talked business. She was working in the bank, I think Bank of Baroda. And she said, there's this man who keeps ranting about this Sai Baba. Every time, we talk about banking matters, he will end up talking. His name is Raghuveer Rao. I don't have his number, but next time, if he calls me, I will try to get his number. Now, you see, probability of calling this lady, picking the phone and getting a number, then if that person calls to get this man's number and me reaching was not going to happen. And then I decided, why don't I just call Bharati Vidya Bhavan? And I said, I'm looking for a place where Sai bhajans. They said, there's this person, Chunni Bai. So the first Chunni Bai matches. And they said, this is the number. And bhajans happen on Thursdays. And when did I call? Thursday morning. That evening, travel in London was not affordable. And I was anyway living on a very frugal budget, where my dad was probably paying all that he was earning towards my living expenses and fees. There was a lot of guilt in making the trip, but that earning was there to be in a bhajan. That evening it was pretty cold. It was a long journey. I still remember there was no GPS. It was like turn left, turn right, go like this, from here, this way. And all houses looked the same and there was no light. It was pretty. And at that time, the only thought that comes to you is like what they say in the Satcharita, Sai, 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 Sai. All that is all that was come involuntarily. It was probably I was shivering in cold. I was not adequately protected to shield myself from the cold. I reached the house and it was Chunni Bai's house. I entered. There were two aromas, beautiful flowers and incense, and amazing doklas at the back. I have arrived at a bhajan, I felt. Bhajan, the aroma of food at the back and the aroma of Swami in front. What more for a student living on a frugal budget? And I was sitting, everybody was practicing, and I went and said, I used to sing in India. Could I sing? They said, sure. What's the song? Somebody came up with a harmonium they were playing. It was magical experience listening to a harmonium play. There was this lady sitting next to me and she was singing in a trance, Chitta Chora Yashoda Ke Bal, and next after her was my turn to sing. I was in ecstasy listening to her Chitta Chora. I could feel Swami and I didn't know how I sang. I finished my song and they said, Beta, where are you studying? I said, I'm in Brunel. How did you come? I took a bus, I took an MRT, I walked this 2 miles to reach your house. And they said, what are you managing for food? I said, I cook. Chunni Bai was the owner of VB and Sons, which in those times was as big as Sainsbury when it comes to food stocks in London. So when I finished, I had food for the whole week. And the entire provisions that I needed to sustain myself for a month. Ready to go. How can I carry? So somebody was saying, I will drop him, you will drop me. And then one man, a semi-bald gentleman with so much of energy came rushing to me and said, it's on my way, I'll drop you. It's on my way, And I said, wow. We spent the journey. It was quite a long journey by road. We spoke of Swami, bhajans, so many things. And I landed close to my hostel. And he said, what's your name, beta? I said, Venkat. Then I said, Sairam sir, what's your name? He said, they call me Raj, but I'm actually Raghuveer Rao. The same person who I was going to be introduced was my Sarathi. Not just for that day. For my entire stay, I was chauffeured to bhajans. I was fed so much that sometimes you had to say, I'll come to sing, but please no food. It was only that, and I'll finish this part and I'm going to stop because I have to be mindful of time. I'll probably do a part 2. That Navaratri, the program was in Harrow in a community hall. It was huge and bhajans were magnificent. And I said, hey, you know what, how lovely it will be for Swami's birthday. You know, I get to sing. But then, you know, you had centers, representation, national bhajan. And we started going to a beautiful center, Mill Hill. In fact, today we had Akhanda Bhajan practice. I was blessed to see a wonderful human who also used to frequent the same center by name Ramesh, who used to play the harmonium as well whenever he flew in there to Mill Hill. And bhajans were fantastic in Mill Hill. And before we knew, there was a group of us selected to sing the birthday song. And guess what the birthday song was? The year was, it was the 69th birthday. Somebody gave us a recording of Humko Tumse Pyar Kitna. They wanted to sing the Hindi. None of us knew the Telugu words. We didn't want to go into that part. So we said, how do we cut the song to how it suits? So somebody gave this beautiful verse. And I do not know whether I got the tune or the tune came just listening to Humko Tumse Pyar Kitna. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll just say the words. Jab kabhi duniya mein zulm sitam hote hain और बर्बादी का आसार हो जाते हैं, बस तभी जुल्म और ईमा की हिफाजत के लिए बंदा परवल खुदा धरती पे उतर आते हैं. झूमकर नाचो, झूमकर नाचो, झूमकर नाच I'm trying to get the words. I'm not getting the words. Zoom kar nacho, दुनिया वालों सुनो सुनो, मेरे बाबा की आज सालगिरह आई है. The way we finished it, we started with "We love you," and you know this was in Birmingham. There were 5,000 people. It was a magical experience. All of us in immaculate whites with the harmonium. The same song that the students sang the previous year, we got to sing for his birthday. Far away in the physical sense. So the UK journey did not end there. Bhajans happened, and Raj, Bhai and Vidya were parents to me, literally. I never missed my parents. I never missed anything. I was actually, when I had to leave and go to the Netherlands, it was quite a different experience. I went through those turbulence that happens to everybody. And suddenly, at the end of my education, was Swami's 70th birthday. And we had one wonderful soul in Ajit Popat who wanted to fly a chartered plane of 225 people. 225 people to Parthi, and 224 had signed up. Who was the 225th person on his list? It was Venkat. Why? I was supposed to be in India anyway. But my mind said, I don't want to see Swami. How could he do this to me? Whatever was happening at the time was beyond. I didn't want to set foot in Bangalore, let alone even try to travel to Puttaparthi. So my father and I were on a business trip. We went to Delhi, we went to Mumbai. Our flight from, I don't know, was it Delhi or Mumbai? No, Delhi, November, it should be Delhi. Was scheduled to fly to Chennai. Bad weather got the flight land to Bangalore. We got out of the plane and there was this huge counter. Welcome, Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization heartily welcomes you to the 70th birthday of Swami. Cars are available. Sai Ram, if you are a devotee of Swami, you want to go to the 70th birthday, the cars will be made available. I'm going to finish today with this last part of it. I told my dad, no way. And the excuses, when you don't want to do something, there are 101 excuses. The excuses went from everything. I don't want to go. We have to go to Coimbatore. We have this to do. It's just birthday. I don't know where I will get accommodation. I had gone to the 60th birthday, incidentally, on a footboard where we had to sleep in the veranda with thousands of others of some professor's home who was a relative. We could not find toilets to bathe. We went without having a bath to see Swami's darshan. At that time, I said, Swami, I wish someday I can come and sit in the front row on on your birthday. I don't know why that came anyway. So with all these background, I did not want to go. My mind was fixed. The last excuse was I don't have white and white. Most trivialist of excuses. I don't know what, if not for my dad coaxing me. He nudged me, went to the counter, got me registered. Within 15 minutes, I was in a car packed with two Mahanubhavas. And I was reminded of Gaur Gopal Das' book, where he goes with somebody and they are on a car journey and the journey transforms them. Just the conversation in the journey transforms them. This was that transformational journey for me. So this person who came to me after we had crossed Makery Circle started telling, can I tell you my story? He said, I was the state president of one state in India. And I used to do, I know my family, I was, endowed with good fortunes. My life was in seva. I did not have a family except, I had loved ones, but not real immediate family. And my life was all serving Swami. One day when I was in Prashanti, Swami called me and said, buddy, tomorrow you'll lose your sight. Everybody should be shocked. He was unperturbed. He said, so what, Swami? Are you not worried? He said, Swami, you have been my eyes. So you take my sight. What is the problem? So be it. That was his answer. And after this incident, his blindness set in slowly. And he was not the president of one state. He became a president of 3 states in service to Swami. And then one day Swami calls him back and says, you know what? Tomorrow you'll get back your vision. You can do more work. He said, Swami, I'm very happy. But I'm already doing your work. Nothing is going to change. You are my eyes. This Mahanubhava was narrating a story that we reached outer Prashanti by that time. The crowds were unimaginable. And I'm going to find Ajit Popat and the UK group. Fat chance. So we had crossed Gokulam. We were coming in. Saraswati Planetarium was on the right. And the new hostel for the postgraduate students, which was to be inaugurated, the car had to stop because there was a traffic jam. And I was on the left. Somebody was knocking on the door. Venkat, open. And I'm like, who's calling my name in Puttaparthi? I couldn't believe. I was still looking in front. But then I looked at the site. It was the entire UK trip who had just arrived, going for their first darshan. Their accommodation, by the way, was the postgraduate hostel. And I was rushed in, given the UK scarf. There was new white set for me. Wore it. In 15 minutes, we were in the front row on the eve of Swami's birthday. Or not, probably 2 days prior to Swami's birthday. I did not want to see him. I did not want to face him. At that moment, he was not on my list of people I want to be with. My brother, incidentally, I didn't talk about him, probably part 2. He was already a student. He was in Prashanti. We went, and again, 2 things happened. Ajit Bhai came and said, we are singing bhajans in front of Swami, but already people have said you might not get a chance, but there is this part to be sung in the play we are putting up. And the song that I had to sing was, Rehm nazar karo ab more sai, tum bin nahi mohe maa baap paaye. Rehm nazar karo, main andha hoon bandha tumhara, main andha hoon bandha tumhara, मैं ना जानू, मैं ना जानू, मैं ना जानू, अल्लाह इलाही, रहम नजर करो. Practice was in full swing. We were likely to present this play privately in Purnachandra Auditorium. Practices were in Purnachandra Auditorium. So everything had tick marks. Drama in Prashanti. Now look, this is all culminating to that student experience wanting. My brother was already a student. See, he being a student was probably more happiness for me than me being a student. And I'm hoping that someday, Swami willing, he too shall speak with his grace. Having said that, the practice was going in full fervor and connecting the dots. By the way, there are a few connecting dots. In bhajan singing those days, there was this mystic of a composer called Hariharan, who would sing songs, and people used to go to... I want to finish two parts of it and then I'll stop. I should stop, otherwise I'll keep going on. In the UK, by the way, my lullaby every day was one pirated tape of Sunambaya, Barbora, and a few others, which had a playlist to die for. Soham Soham Dhyana Karo, Lagale Mana Sai Bhajan Se Preet, Sai Tero Naam, Janama Janama Mai Gaun. Songs that made you want to be with Sai. All these had set up, and this culmination was that opportunity to also sing in Prashanti. That evening, we were asked to get the props, and that was my first experience with props. Later on in part 2, you will hear how the birthday happiness came when I was able to get a prop of Swami done for Swami's 85th birthday. Satyana knows about that. But this prop was amazing. The props were huge. It had to be transported. And at about 1 o'clock in the night, I was rushed into a lorry. And when I turned to look, guess who was there? An old friend who used to take me like a little brother for bhajans in Coimbatore, called Gopi Anna, who was a speaker in this series, Brother Gopi from the Hyderabad Boys. He was driving the lorry, and that was amazing happiness. And what did we do? Transport rice sacks from somewhere, and also the props in that process. So we had also done service for Swami's birthday. And then Swami's birthday came, and it was amazing, like in the Hillview Stadium, we were probably in the 15th row. Suddenly somebody said, that, you people are singing today in the mandir. We ran. I mean, Swami just finished his speech and we are singing in the mandir. We ran. We ran as if there was no tomorrow, and we all were seated. Trust me, I was not scheduled to sing. Everybody had seated, and guess the place that I got to sit with my favorite instrument, the manjira, right at the footstep of Swami's Paduka, the stool. To my right is Ravi Kumar sir with his amazing ganjira, and the UK group, and not the students, were singing the bhajans on Swami's birthday in the mandir. All that happened, again, wanted to be in the mandir to sing. Doesn't matter if you lead or follow, just the happiness of enjoying Swami sit the entire bhajan, waving his hands to that cosmic space and showering his love was such an experience that contentment set in. This is it. What is there more than this? That longing to sing probably stopped. That was there. Happiness, contentment came in a very unique way. This was all that you longed for, the journey. It was not the end of the journey. It was the beginning of a new journey. Where suddenly, where I didn't want Swami says, once I bring you in, buddy, I won't leave you. You can leave. I won't leave you. And I left, and of course, it continued again. No? This Rehem Nazar Karo. For 3 more days, we waited for Swami's permission to stage that play. It didn't happen. Again, it didn't happen. It was not meant to be. Let me talk about part 2, where plays are not something that you put up only in Prashanti. Because wherever you call his name, put his chair, in today's satsang, if I am able to speak with that emotion of that journey and that experience, it is his unbelievable, unfiltered, unadulterated love that flows And that is bliss, and that is Sai Geetham. And with that, with that, let me finish off. I actually wanted to sing something else. I will sing this next week. I had something to finish. So that journey which started when I told you Yogananda and Yukteswar, that longing for a guru. So the song that filled my heart at that time was sung by Swami Shantananda. It was actually a Yogananda Paramahamsa composition, which goes like, door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Will thou come, oh will thou come, just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day and night and day, I look for thee night and day. With that longing, I came to Swami, and Swami gave this message, which was again a Yogananda composition. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I shall never forsake you. I will never forget you. I shall never forsake you. And I left Prashanti that day. I keep feeling your love in me over and over again. And it's sweeter and sweeter as the days go by. Oh, what a love between my Sai and I. So let me pause. I presumed the music that flowed from us, the bliss that emanated, the fragrance of the love of Sai family, where there were so many Mahanubhavas who were always available. If today whatever I am is because of these Mahanubhavas who with no iota of hesitation, with what money they have in the pocket, with what commitments they have, when an opportunity comes to serve, jump on it. Don't hesitate. Don't process. Don't let the mind come between the opportunity and decision, because all those disappointments that I thought was something that happened was because I let my mind process logically. And I'm a very logical person, trust me, which has my share of problems. Anger probably erupts faster than one can imagine. The next part of my journey, which I'm still learning, is that process where you can lose the Sai in you when you let Ahankara manifest. And that is what I would be going to the next part, in search of that Sai Geetham, to find that Sai. So with that, I pray to Swami for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Without His will, nothing happens. Most of the words, the choice of words, definitely are His. Experiences might be personal, but it would not have happened without the Mahanubhavas of that Balvikas Guru, who taught without any expectation. That Punnappan sir, who spent all his meager earnings on taking us around, and then brother Raghuveer Rao, whose only life weekend was transporting me to bhajan after bhajan. Vidya, for giving me all the love of food that gave me. I didn't talk about one more person. Something else happened on Thursdays. I also met one Ishwar Patel, who happened to be a far senior person, who was doing his distant education. He was doing his master's program. He used to come on Thursdays. I didn't tell you of one more magical journey. I wanted to sing on a Thursday and a Sunday. This was my dream before. Coimbatore bhajans were Thursday and Sunday. So Ishwar Bhai suddenly saw me and said, "You're in Brunel." "I'm in Brunel." "What do you do on Thursday?" I said, "My classes finish at 11 o'clock. He said, "Mine finish at 1. You know what? Mine finish at 4. Why don't we go for a bhajan in Reading?" Brunel was Uxbridge. Reading was somewhere. We used to drive. We used to go to some beautiful places visited by Swami Vivekananda, and here and there on the way to Oxford, and then go to Reading. Reading was bhajan, 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 bhajan. So Thursday's bhajan, Saturday evening bhajan, Sunday morning bhajan. I do not know whether I went to do a master's degree. All I did was bhajan, bhajan, bhajan. Constant contemplation of the Lord, who kept the monkey mind and tame, keeping me not to go astray. letting me reach today with this infinite grace every time I make a mistake. The love that is existent in people around me, the Sai in them help me sustain the mistakes survive the mistakes that I make. And I'm blessed today that this Sai Geetham family that is here, where everyone works in such unison that all you need is to be available, and we are always available for Swami. Thank you, Swami, for giving this opportunity, and thank you all for staying this long. I've exceeded my time. I knew I would do that, but let me see how the contemplation part of part 2 happens next week. With that, humble Sai Rams.
Sai Venkat, normally you end a session saying that we have to be waiting in contemplation of who the speaker is going to be. That itself is a little bit of an excitement. But how bigger is the excitement when you are aware of a particular story, where it is going, and now you're wondering where else is it going to go? Okay, and you would leave 7 days of restlessness in so many of us now. Okay, you also. Okay, which will lead it to part 3, I'm sure. Okay, right? Okay, because see, it's a story of a lifetime. Okay, and which cannot be compressed into 1.5 hours, right? And the reason this everybody is able to feel it is because the beauty of the story that is written by Swami is that the same story is written in many people's lives, but with different languages, maybe different dialogues or different music and different lyrics. And we are all able to connect to all of these in our own lives, only that you were able to bring it out today and we were able to experience it as our own lives of so many years, which I'm sure will inspire many more devotees who are here to come out and share those with us also, so that we all can really, soak in the bliss of the Sai Geetham, which is the song of Sai, which is all of us, and which we have never been able to realize. Okay, thank you so much for bringing this. So for all the devotees, the flight has taken off. We are on a cruising mode now. Okay. There could be turbulences in the next 1 week because we are not part of this. We are going to go into some material life. But be rest assured that the divine pilot is there and he will bring us back to this cruising mode again, 7:30 p.m. Singapore time next Sunday. Okay. And then enjoy this journey. We are all looking forward to it. How many parts this has to go into? There are no restrictions. Okay. I'm only hoping it will inspire some more people in Venkat's family who, if you are listening here, would also feel inspired to speak and share. Okay, don't get angry with me for bringing this out. Okay, thank you so much. Very, very blissful. Waiting for 7:30 p.m. next Sunday. I will let
I have
Venkat
one
do
request,
the
please.
closing prayer. Yes, please.
I have one request. Brother Venkat, would you please, when you mentioned that pirated CD with all those Gana Gandharvas which sustained you through your stay in UK, the desire in my heart arose, if you have digitized that tape, could you share it with us?
Thank you, Brother Arvind. I've not digitized it, but I definitely have tapes. I have not thrown away anything.
Awesome.
I will go back to Coimbatore and try to search it. I have not thrown away anything. I have tapes. I also want to let you know. I'll finish off with one point, and I probably am going to request that to be the ending because you need to hear a Gandharva sing, and you've actually brought this thought. You know that feeling of going to Prashanti in 1983 with the gust of wind, uh, the cool breeze of December. I relived it in a song that was released in Singapore, sung by the person who is on the right of my screen now, which goes Silvo Parthike. I want him to sing this, and let's finish with that. Anna, Selvom Parthiki Amedike Urvana Anvadevam Kana. Please.
Oh, today you want me to sing that.
Yes, I want you to
Okay.
sing that. I want you
No,
to.
we,
No, we will hear you. No, no,
we
no.
only
It-
one.
because, no, no. I can't sing it. So just sing. Just sing. I'm lost.
No,
No,
sing,
I
because
can't. I it won't
it
come.
doesn't matter.
No, 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 no. Please sing. It's for my happiness, and that will connect part two. I'm just setting up what part two is all going to be about. So, Anna, please sing Selvam Parthik.
I'll just say a couple of lines and
Okay.
you can
First,
explain.
yeah, I'll explain the words if people don't understand.
Yeah, because you've already taken us there.
No, no, but
That's why.
no, I
So,
just
yeah.
want, I want these journeys, right? We see, by the way, it's not one flight that we take, by the way. We take flight every week. And next week, let me talk about flights where when the baggage is heavy, you need a smaller vehicle because you otherwise need a long runway to land, you know? So we'll talk about that flight journey and the magnificence. And that's the Sai Geetham that I want to touch about. But let's reminisce in this journey. We've just been to Sai. Let me hear that. That was absolutely a blissful. I mean, it brought me tears when I heard it, and it still brings me tears when I hear you sing that. Please do that for me, for Swami.
செல்வோம் பர்த்திக்கு நாமும் செல்வோம் பர்த்திக்கு அமைதியே உருவான அன்பு தெய்வத்தை காண செல்வோம் பர்த்திக்கு அமைதியே உருவான அன்பு தெய்வத்தை காண செல்வோம் பர்த்திக்கு. So the beautiful form of Sai that has drawn so many of us to that most sacred part of this creation, Parthi. That's what this song is about. It has taken so many of us there. And I'm sure, Venkat, I want you to continue your journey. And maybe we'll sing the next part of this song along with your journey next week.
Yes, Anna.
Okay,
We
which
will.
I'm sure will carry the message of
No,
your
I
conversation also.
actually wanted this to conclude that. See, the first part of all our journey is to go and seek Swami in Parthi. He always resides in Parthi. The next part of Sai Geetham is to realize the Swami in you, in you, in you, in you, in everyone. Where Parthi is actually in our hearts. And that is part two. So let's wait for that part where we realize it's not the bhajan that you hear, but it is that eternal sound of Nada Brahmam that you will only hear when Ahankara is not there, Omkara exists. When there is silence in the heart, in that depth of silence, you hear the music of the Lord, which just resonates. And to stay in that resonance, let me try and talk what contemplation and what blessings have come my way, where Swami has actually given me absolutely a very smooth ride. Sometimes I worry about it. It's very smooth. And let's see what is in store, where I also get to contemplate looking through that rear view mirror and seeing if there were so many instances where I didn't realize he was by my side, but he was actually there holding on to my hand. So with that, humble Sai Rams, we'll finish with Samastaloka. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की. Sai Ram, everyone, stay
Sai
safe.
Ram, Sai Ram. Very nice.
Hi,